Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, Doha. Welcome to the 15th edition of the weekly virtual Big B meetup. We have been at it every Saturday since the 18th of April, mashallah. And the virtual Big B meetup has grown exponentially. And thank you for all the love and support, guys. Thank you very much, Fatima. You scared me there. Big B.
I don't know what's wrong with the internet.
That's okay. No worries. No worries. Big B Meetup is a community initiative founded in 2018 in Qatar. It is dedicated to my mother, the late Aureliana Josephine, and inspired by the people of Qatar. It aims to educate, to inform, to inspire, and bring communities together. Today, I have a wonderful guest panel, Fatma, Khalifa, and Mohammed, future stars of the Qatari art scene. Actually, they are already stars, I'm just saying, but they have a great future ahead of them, so here we go. With all due respect, I'd like to start with Fatima, but before that, I'd like all three of y'all to give your details, introduce yourselves as your social media handles. If we can start with Fatima and we go to Khalifa and then Mohammed.
Hi, my name is Fatma Muhammad. My Instagram handle is Fatum with the 6993. I'm a contemporary artist here in Qatar.
Khalifa?
My name is Khalifa Al-Thani. I'm a filmmaker and experiment with visual art every now and then. And my Instagram handle is Khalifa with an H Al-Thani on Twitter and Instagram.
And Mohammed Faraj?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mohammed Faraj Suwaidi, digital artist and also a teaching assistant at Qatar University. My Instagram tag is Mohammed Suwaidi, and also the same for Twitter as well.
Great. Thank you so much. And welcome to Big B Meetup, virtual Big B Meetup. So Fatma, I'm sorry, Fatma, but you are my favorite.
Thank you.
Please let everyone know who the real Fatma is. Go ahead.
So my name is Fatma. I graduated from VC in 2016. I work in the National Museum as an art educator, and my work revolves on my character Anaj. She's half American bald eagle, half Khaliji. She wears as you could see, I could show you the beak. I do like photographs.
Fatma, can you repeat yourself a bit? Can you repeat that what you said, because we lost it. We lost some of that there. Can you repeat yourself on Anaj? Because I love Anaj. That's the reason I fell in love with all your work, because that bald eagle with that Batula is going places.
Oh, thank you.
Can you repeat yourself?
Yeah, I've done like.
Nice. Sorry, I'm so sorry, but we have another friend here, Khalil Jaber, another Qatari superstar. He's saying hello to all of us here. Assalamu alaikum, Khalid. Hello. So Fatma, please continue with Anaj.
Anaj was also part of the residency in New York. As you could see behind me, this is a photo taken in Brooklyn Bridge, Williamsburg Bridge, I mean. And I dressed in the abaya and with the beak, and I went around New York dressed up as like a performance and interacting with people over there. And I also did the same here in Doha. And I create my own inks as well, using medicine and also using the fabric of the batula. If any of you guys went and said hi to your grandmother, you sometimes get this like purple pigment on your face because of the batula. So I have here ink I created from the batula. Which, yeah.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And have you made any artwork out of that? Have you created any work out of that?
Yeah, I've created several prints out of that, which is interesting. The ink, the batula ink, eventually disappears, which is kind of poetic because the batulas now we don't see it anymore. The older generation used to wear it, and now no one does. So it's kind of
funny. Fatima, it's funny you say that, because am a lover of the Batula because I grew up in Qatar and I've seen so many, older generation women wear it. And I also I got a tap on my hand once because as a photographer, as a photojournalist, I was trying to capture an old lady in the Batula, and she said no. And I'm like, but you can't even see you in the Batula, so why can't I take a picture? I just wanted to capture her moments because it was in the Souk Waqif, because that's where you'll see people in batulas. Nowadays, if you
Yeah.
want to see people in batulas, what wouldn't you agree with me, Khalifa and Mohammed?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
So
recently.
yeah, exactly. Fatima, you shouldn't give up on seeing people in batulas. In fact, you should wear a batula sometimes. It'll make a real fashion statement, and
Yeah.
I think Fahad Al Obeidly will be very happy too. We should, think about that. I'm going to get him on board at some point. Yeah. So tell us more about your journey, Fatima, and
Yeah.
how did you come up with the idea of the ink? Because I think that's phenomenal coming from you, to produce your own ink. Wouldn't this be called a sustainable act, a sustainable artist? Wouldn't you, Khalifa's thinking? What
Yeah.
do you think?
Yeah, because I'm thinking about kind of exploring that further. I mean, like in films and stuff, it would be really cool. Maybe collaboration.
Yeah, that'd be great, Khalifa.
Exactly. Hang on. Yeah, yeah. We will go to the collaborations very soon. Exactly, because you could be the female version of Batman roaming in New York, in Brooklyn, and in Long Island, and Staten Island, and in Losail Island, or the new islands coming up in the Losail. You should think about that. A nice movie we can produce in 2021 at the Ajal Festival, or even Tribeca. What do you think? Mohammed's not
Yeah.
saying anything.
I
Mohammed
agree.
will be
I know
yeah,
that. I'm like thinking to
Mohammed,
myself, it would actually be a very, very cool thing. It's more of a westernized outlook towards it, but I think it would work really well,
yeah,
perhaps.
because next year is the year of culture of Qatar and USA, and to
Yeah.
show culture. You guys are already done. You've already done that actually. You've already done the year of culture beforehand. So we just have to slip it in and showcase it again and say, hey guys. And we talking of year of culture, we have the president of the American Women's Association here, Elizabeth. And yep, there she is. Yeah. So she's with us. So, guys, Fatma, coming back to you, I want to know, how did you do printmaking? Can you give us some
What?
information about installation art and mixed media? These are your majors, right? At uni, at
Yeah.
VCU.
Yes. I kind of combine printmaking with sculpture. So I do prints and turn them into 3D objects. And like installation, if you've seen like my work from before in the fire station, I always
Yeah.
have it revolves around my character. I know even I have this like mask I've made, which
Yeah.
is like a sculpture itself, but like what people could wear. This is also
Wow.
combined.
I've
Can
seen
you can
this
you
in presentation.
can you show it up
Yeah,
again, please? Can you
Hold on,
show
give
that
me a
up for
second.
us again?
yeah,
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And I think I've seen this at the fire station, and at another. It was twice at the fire station. One at the main building, right, with another general exhibition with other artists, if I'm not mistaken. And then you had your own bespoke exhibition where Mohammed Al Suwaidi also had the same location, the Al Markia Gallery, I think it was. Is that right?
I think
Okay.
the camera froze a bit.
Yeah, I think I need to call Orido now. Hang on. Just kidding. Yeah, but no worries, no worries. We
All
can
right.
we can go back to her. Let's move to Khalifa. Yeah, because Khalifa,
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much for coming on board here.
Thank
I'm
you.
a big fan of yours, and I want to thank you for your support also. As you were, I noticed you at the physical Big B meetup that I had at Mo Al Thani's Altitude. It was very
It was
nice
just
of you to support the
a
event. Thank you so
great.
much. Let's pretend nobody knows you, and just could you introduce yourself, Khalifa, to the audience, and what you've been doing, your journey. I mean, you are on your journey. You're still a young lad. So give us some information, Khalifa, about your filmmaking life, your your life,
Yeah,
your
sure.
education?
Yeah. Well, I studied film. I studied film in the States. I studied. I was my focus was more on directing and writing, but I've also done some producing here and there. I came back to Doha. I've written some features. I'm currently. I've done a few shorts that had kind of like a focus on interdisciplinary exploration of the identity of Qatar. So when it was in the blockade, it was about I used kind of like dark humor to kind of fight back with all the stuff that was being said in 2017, as you may know.
I like dark
Recently,
humor. I love dark humor. Please continue.
yeah, as recently I've been working on. I've been doing a few kind of like using multimedia art installations. This was a new venture for me. It's a new scope. I'm still fresh, and I'm also working on my short film and my feature film. My short film that I'm working on now, I was supposed to actually shoot it in April, but under these circumstances, it's a little hard to do. So hopefully I'm going to be doing it, in the next few months. Hopefully, inshallah. Um, I also kind of worked on curatorial work with because I work in the Doha Film Institute, and it's a new cultural hub that was started in 2017. So I worked on the one from 2018, which was Reaction, and 2019, which was Arc. Um, so that's a new thing for me. I like to explore new things when it
Yeah.
comes to, but it's in the multimedia scope.
Yeah, you've been a sensation lately. I mean, I'm sure you've been a sensation before too, but you've been a sensation lately on Instagram with your new movie, and it dwells with it has
Yeah,
something to do with the past. And I love when young kids like you, excuse me calling you a kid, but when young lads like you, come up with stuff
29.
to do with the past, because
Yeah,
I still remember going to the National Museum of Qatar as a kid. My dad used to take me and my brother, and we had these lovely things that something similar to what Mohammed Al Suwaidi does. There was a little well, and you looked into the well and you saw all kinds of different slides, going around. And I was a bit sad that I think they didn't keep that, but they did something better, and they had new age technology with new stuff at the National Museum. I hope Sheikh Al Mayas is not listening to me here, but
so all the
yeah.
films were actually produced by DFI, the National Museum. So it's like
Oh,
you're entering this like immersive journey, which is really
yes,
beautiful.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so the artwork that I did it was for a Markhia gallery and Markhia and Innovation Films. They approached me to do like to be a participant for their Qatar 2030 vision, and this is like the part one, and yeah, so I
Innovation,
kind of sorry.
innovation films. Did you say innovation films?
Yeah, so Innovation Films
That's
and
Khalid. Khalid.
Markhia, yeah.
Yeah, he's everywhere. He's everywhere,
Mohammed
man.
Mohammed Hamadi approached me to be a participant, and it was really cool. I mean, the film is it's kind of like a juxtaposition of historical and contemporary film and photography of Doha, and I used like an old TV um, on neon to project the film through. I just have this fascination with old TVs. I really do, because and I think it was just like a visually very interesting. At least to me, I don't know. I hopefully everyone liked it.
Yeah,
But
It
yeah,
was
so
amazing.
it was a new thing for me and to do, and I kind of wanted to experiment with something cool. So you kind of get all the four pillars of for the Qatar 2030 vision. Environment, human, social, just education.
okay, excellent. And it's showing at Al Markia Gallery right as we speak.
Yes, so you can
Yeah.
see all that. Yeah, so you can go there now. I mean, I was really happy that it's a physical exhibition. I really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Talking of physical exhibitions, I'm planning a big B, a mega expo in mid to late November, and I like all of you guys to take part. Another young coming artist coming up in Qatar is Ahmed Al Hajri. He's a visual artist, and I'd like him to be part of my digital art expo with Mohammed Al Swedi, and I would like them to actually be curators too. At least, definitely Mohammed and Ahmed. I will talk to you guys about that after our show, but we'll be talking about it, some of it here too. Khalifa, if you're looking for old TVs, you know what we should do? We should go and ransack the the museum in Sheikh Faisal's museum. There are a lot of lovely TVs there,
I have actually a lot of old TVs that I'm thinking of utilizing, hopefully for something.
Excellent, great, fantastic. Yeah, it's nothing like the old TVs. I miss them too. Talking of the devil, here's Ahmed Al Hajri for you guys. He is a wonderful. I don't know. Do you all know Ahmed?
Yes,
Yes.
I do.
Oh, lovely, lovely, great.
Al Ahmed.
Fatma, yeah, Ahmed. He's a lovely artist, and he was in fact he was at
Thank
the Artists of Qatar Expo that we had at Sheikh Faisal's museum. And he posed some amazing questions to even Mohammed Al Suwaidi, and we all applauded his questions because it was just fantastic. And he's doing some really nice work. I would call it also dark humor because his work is eclectic. It's really nice, and he's an emerging artist himself, right, Ahmed? And he'll be coming up with many questions for sure. This guy, he's amazing. Yeah. So, Khalifa, a little more about. Uh, would you like to organize a mini Ajal at some point with Big B?
Inshallah. You're putting me on the spot right now.
Yeah, I like to do that, because we're all on the spot right now. Yeah, yeah,
Inshallah.
because
No worries. Yeah. Let's do it.
because I volunteered for the first DDFF, and that's where I met Salman. I don't know if you all definitely know Salman.
Yeah, Salman's a good friend.
Yeah, Salman is a lovely guy. So we were both volunteers, and I met him 6 years ago, the first DDFF, and he. I told him you guys are coming online, and he's supposed to be. I mean, it's afternoon there in Chicago. Yeah, it should be mid afternoon in Chicago. He should be online there somehow. But he's another lovely filmmaker, and lovely gentleman, and I'd like to combine all you guys together, and we come up with, I shouldn't say mini because it's Big B meetup, Big B photography, so mini Big B Ajal, because Ajal is a fantastic expo, but we can definitely do that. And what is the kind of genres of film that you make, Khalifa? What do you delve on?
So when I was in the States, I kind of delved into different genres just to kind of explore everything and to see where my what my real, because every filmmaker has their own identity, like their own creative identity, like all of us. So I was trying to figure that out for myself, and it was very Western. Every kind of like theme I was exploring was more Western. And by my senior year, I really felt attached to period Doha, period time Doha. So my features actually involves the 70s and involves the way QU was first established, Qatar University was first established, and it was through a protagonist. And it's an interesting story. I mean, but features take a long time to kind of develop and create. And I took it to Umrah, which is an initiative in Doha that brings the expertise in film with filmmakers that are emerging. I also explored dark humor, as you may know, like dark comedy. But recently, my short is going to be dystopian, so it's like dystopian thriller. And I really like thrillers, and I really like dystopian times. Kind of on the theme of like Westworld, Black Mirror. Um, yeah, so it's my short hopefully is going to be on a more dystopian scope.
That's phenomenal. That's just fantastic. It's out of my league actually right now, but I'll get there. That's lovely. And give us some insights into your journey. Give us would you do a film in Bollywood? Because Bollywood, I mean, I know all Arabs love Bollywood,
I
and
love
maybe
Bollywood.
yeah. Have
Yeah.
you been to India?
I went during the Year of Culture. I went to Mumbai, the film festival in Mumbai.
Okay,
I think
okay,
the chairperson is Deepika Padukone.
okay. Hang on. Hang on. You met Deepika Padukone?
Yeah, I met Deepika. Yeah, I met Deepika and Ranveer.
Okay. Now I'm starstruck. By the way, you went to the city of my birth. I was born in
It
Bombay.
was beautiful. I really want to go back again. It was really, really fun.
Did you soak in? Did you soak in the atmosphere, the colors, the aroma?
Yes. And everyone was really, really nice and generous. I had a really good time in Mumbai, and we had like a Qatari films, Qatari shorts, and it was screened in the theater there, and it got sold out. So that made us really happy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're already ahead. You're already ahead of me. I was going to say let's make a film in Bollywood, but you're already ahead of me, buddy.
We can do it.
Wow. Were you with Khalifa Al Obeidly? Did you tour the place with Khalifa Al Obeidly?
No, it was with DFI, Doha film, not Khalifa Bedli.
Okay, because Khalifa Al-Obeidly also toured India and Mumbai, and Mumbai, the movie Slumdog Billionaire was shot
Mm-hmm.
in Mumbai in one of the biggest slums in the world, and that's where I am thinking of doing a short film with a lovely Qatari filmmaker, Hind Fakhru. She's
Yes.
my favorite, my favorite filmmaker. I'm sorry, but she is my favorite filmmaker. Yeah, and
That's
she's and I pulled her on the virtual Big B meetup show during Garan Go because she has two wonderful kids. So she got on the show with us in during Ramadan, and she
Mhm.
had her kids sing the Garan Go song for us. And they want to become film stars. Can you believe that? They're young. They're like what, 7 or 8. They're gonna be better than their mom. Film
Yeah, she's
stars,
doing
man.
a fictional. She's doing a feature fiction now, which is really
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, really? I didn't know about that. I didn't. She didn't tell me
Yeah,
about
it
that. But
also
she.
got postponed because of the COVID-19, but she's doing a feature fiction.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You know. Mohammed Al Swedi, Mohammed Faraj Al Swedi has one of the most captivating smiles I've ever seen. He's a really cool guy, and I'd like to quickly move to Mohammed because he's just waiting to say hello. So one thing in common between Fatima and Mohammed are they've both been part of a Big B meetup before at Sheikh Faisal's museum, thanks to Sheikh Al Noor bint Faisal, and Mohammed gave me some really nice advice there because I take advice from different. I mean, everybody. He can be 20 years younger than me. That Mohammed is, but I took his advice and I placed my art work in a nice way with that. Mohammed said, you should place your work there. Yeah, so he's already done part-time curating with me for my for my exhibition,
With
and
discount.
yeah, and it was really nice to know you, Mohammed. Although I know your sister much before you, she's been part of a project that I did in 2017. I produced a calendar uh, called Qatar's Artists. Yeah, and I had your sister's work here, which is,
I remember
and
that.
I've been for,
Yes.
yeah, and I've been for an exhibition, and it is just fantastic. So I consider this work better than Damien Hirst, seriously, because his work is a bit gory, too much of blood, too much of. When I went to the exhibition he had at MIA, I'm like, oh my God, this is like a little
I remember that
too
actually.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I had,
He's very straightforward with the concepts, I'd say.
pardon me.
He's very straightforward with this concept. It's just
Yes,
straightforward. Just
yes,
take a shot, cut it in half, place it inside acrylic
yeah,
glass. There you go.
yeah. I thought I was at a butcher shop. I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah,
It's a good thing. It's a very nice slice. But yes, Mariam Sawadi's work has actually been developing, and I always love her works as well. And hopefully, she also
yeah.
has a show at the moment, also in Markhiyat.
Yes.
Yes, I know that. Yes, she does. She's an amazing artist and a lovely human being. I've met her a couple of times, and she's just fantastic. Uh, so I would like to produce. I mean, I don't know how Khalifa Al Thani can be part of this project, but because it's a print calendar, I'm going to produce one for 2021 because since 2018, I know so many more artists, and it's just not. I had called my event Qatari artist, but then it's not just Qatari artists. I changed it. I said it's artists of Qatar. So because Qatar is inclusive, not exclusive. We have so many nationalities here, and you'll agree. You guys agree with me, right?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's inclusive. So we got artists of different nationalities combining their work together. And I'd like to produce a calendar. And you guys can nominate somebody because I'd like to have your work part of this calendar. And maybe I'll take it to the NMOQ office, Her Excellency's office, and say, let's do this for 2021 to show community building because, the quarantine has kept us all kind of, ups and downs here and there. What do you say? What do you think, guys?
I agree. It's a great initiative as well to push forward.
Yeah, it's a
Thank
great
Hopefully,
you.
idea.
Mhm.
Perfect. And I like Anaj to be on the cover. Anaj should be on the cover with her cloak and flying through helping people. Yes,
She
that'd
gets
be nice.
overpaid.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
So, Mohammed, give us your story, Mohammed. Let me be plain and simple and to the point. Give us your story.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you very much for having me today, and alongside these other two amazing artists. It's a great privilege. In a sense, I'd like to introduce it myself by saying that I have a background in architecture. So I've attained my BA and MA from the University of Plymouth and the University of Liverpool. And my graduation date was actually right before the start date of my residency at the fire station. Most of my works have always been delving with, I would say, the digital-based works. But then the fabrication always became like a nice juxtaposition to that as well. So the idea of being able to create something, simulate it, test it out, see how it is visually as well, became a starting point. But then being able to experiment with how that's actually conceived and done in a visual and also a physical-like manner always became interesting to me. So during my time at the fire station, I experimented with physical-based work and also delved in with kinetic-based architecture as well. So most of my installation pieces were actually made with mild steel. Yes, it was mild steel. Mild steel based works that actually moved alongside each other to create different dynamic shapes as well. And the main inspiration for that was the idea of change and how I was able to integrate that into physical and also emotional movement as well. I'd say most of the works have always been personal driven, and at the same time, they always progress with different storylines based off of what stage I am in life, what's around me as well, and I'd say it's a continuing process in this case. It's all for me about the development, how something is made from start to finish. For me, I find that to be a lot more interesting compared to a finished product. So I would say whenever someone asks me, "Oh, so what's this piece about?" I'll talk about the process, not the story behind it. It's just part of me. I'd say.
That's nice.
But yeah.
Yeah. So, how do you see the art scenario growing in Qatar, Mohammed? Actually, I have this question for all three of you all, but we can start with Mohammed answering that question. How do you see the art scenario in Qatar as a young artist? Because I'd like to get opinions from different artists at different stages of their life. Like I'm going to talk to Ahmed Al Madid and so many other artists, established artists, emerging artists. So, what is your take on the scenario in Qatar of the evolving art scene?
I would say it's continuously developing. It's also changing as well in regards to trends, the use of what tools are available as well, and also what we tend to see around us as well. Political events that are taking place as well. All this stuff is actually taking influence of what we are also creating as artists. In regards to the field and also the community, the art community itself, I was always thankfully, my father is Faraj Daham. Like he's been in the art scene for over 30 years, 40 years as well. I kind of grew up with this culture. I found it to be very, very inspiring as well. And seeing that drastic change from, let's say, when I was born in the 90s up until today, it's become a great length of development and also transition. And I'd say hopefully to the best in the future.
Fantastic. Talking of your dad, recently I saw a post of his work in 2012. Was He had an exhibition in France? Do you? I mean, I know we're talking about you, but I'd love to if you shed some light on your dad because he's an icon, isn't he? I mean, I met him just once at Sheikh Faisal's museum, and we had a quick chat. And I only know a couple of other artists in Qatar from the old times, but your
Mhm.
dad is one of the artists of Qatar. Can you shed a little light about your dad?
Yes, so the exhibition taking place currently at the moment is part of the Year of Culture with France and Qatar. So one of his pieces that were actually exhibited in Paris is a piece that was done in 2014, I think it was, as part of the Street Language Collection. The piece itself was talking about the idea of construction development and also how it's taking place in regards to signage and how people tend to communicate. So a big part of it actually was, became a. I think you'll be better off explaining this instead of me, actually. But I would say that a good part of it talks about the idea of labor rights and the community as well, and how it develops in Qatar.
Love.
Um,
That's nice. So coming back to the same question to the other two guests here, Fatima, could you shed some light on how do you see the art scene, the art scenario evolving in Qatar?
I feel like it's evolved a lot from back in the day till now. Like from schools, like art education starts is back in Arabic schools and in English schools, so that's really good. And after when they opened like fire stage, like like station opened many doors, and we're seeing a lot of emergence of younger artists and with in different fields, like in film, like performance and visual and sculpture. So it's kind of interesting, as well as like with the political events, like inspired a lot of artists to do different types of work and not without like fearing, like without any limitations. So this is really like a great time for artists, I feel.
True, true. I'm going to put this question to Khalif, although it might be the wrong person to ask. But how do you see VCU as an art influencer in Qatar? Because I'm all about original. I mean, not original. I shouldn't say original is the wrong word. Actually, everybody's an original artist, but I'm all about homegrown artists from the nation as opposed to getting influenced. You should get influenced, but when you're pure and you just set about given a canvas and said, go ahead and make me proud, you know what I mean, as opposed to going to art school. Of course you need to know the nuances of art, don't you? But how, yeah, Khalifa has
I mean,
something.
I didn't go to VC. I went to SVA. I went to School of Visual Arts in New York. I don't know anything about, like, I'm not sure. I know a lot of great artists that actually came out of VCU, but in my opinion, school can only teach you the basics. It can only teach you the basics of learning about art. I mean, it has to stem from something that is your preference of what medium you want to execute your visual piece from. So, for example, like I recently we curated an exhibition for called Arc, and Arc was basically how you set up a story, because it's in relations to film. So you have the three arc structure of a story, which is beginning, middle, and end. And the artists that were there was 20 artists, and each one of them had their own distinct style, their own distinct vision or view of what a story is. So you kind of have contemporary art, period, photography, printmaking, films, documentaries. There's no limits to that. And I think in Doha this has been the art scene has been progressed immensely. I mean, like for example, Fire Station creates a cross-cultural dialogue. When you bring an artist like Picasso, or let's say even what do you call it, like Richard Serra.
Yeah.
You have all these artists that come in, and it helps the community kind of grow, because they learn, they see, they think for themselves, and they create their own thing. I mean, it has grown immensely, but talent was already there. Like Mohammed Swedi's dad is a talent from back then, so talent is already
Yeah.
there. But the Gen Zers right now are learning a lot about everything, and the millennials.
That's lovely. That's very well put. Very well put. Guys, Mohammed, actually, what are your aspirations in the future? What are your plans for the future? Where do you see yourself going with architecture? By the way, architecture was my dream profession. I wanted to be an architect when I was a kid because I used to always doodle. I still doodle. And in fact, the Architects Hub, one of the people from the Architects Hub, I'm part of that group. They thought I was an architect. I said no, because they like my perceptions, my perspectives in my architectural photography. So I said no, I would have loved to be an architect. But I think now the cooler thing is being a town planner, isn't it? Everybody wants to be a town planner. Is
Yeah.
that the new the new the new kid on the block? Yeah. So what are your future plans? What do how, with your career, with your architecture and your art? You can combine the two. It's just very nicely placed for you.
Yeah, I think I guess I'm happy to say that I was actually able to merge both my interests and also my academic life into one, partly design and arts meshed into one. I've always found the idea of being able to share experiences and also being able to work in a collaborative way as part of my endeavors in the future. So
Yeah.
a big part of it.
I think Noor has this for you. Noor Faisal has put up QA, QA, QA. I think she means your future is only with QA. Qatar University, or she meant QU maybe. I don't know. But
QU, Qatar University, yes.
yeah,
So I've been working with Qatar University this year as a teaching assistant, in hopes of also pursuing my PhDs in the future. and also getting into teaching as well in architecture, inshallah.
Lovely, lovely. Can we go quickly to your slideshow, because that's very interesting. I'd love you to show. I would like the viewers to see some of your slides because they are phenomenal. Those people who have missed out your show, that you had the expo you had at the fire station. Can we go there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna get myself off the screen for a few seconds. I'm on audio, and
Yes, of course.
if you can get your screen on board here,
All right.
we can we can go there.
You'll find a series of examples. I think I kind of just made a mesh of or a quick slideshow of all the works or some of the works that I have at the moment.
Okay, lovely. Let's do this.
So,
Let's have a look at this. Okay, perfect.
all
So
right. Can you see this?
yeah, we can see that. Yeah,
Is it in full screen?
uh, it's gonna be this way. It's just gonna be this way. But yeah,
Like this, yes?
yeah.
So a lot of my works have actually been very, as I mentioned before, very developmental based. I've worked with softwares from a very young age, and I've also progressed with those, when I started my academic years at the university. A lot of the actual work start off as a sketch, and they're always translated into digital forms or shapes as well. And one of which is actually an experiment that I had initially, that was to 3D model my face and then see what I can do with that afterwards. It kind of became a continuous process for me after. I started to experiment with how I can actually 3D model the face and actually create different shapes as well. And then it was then fabricated into different layers. So the way a building, let's say, was constructed was actually replicated via how I made the overall sculpture in the end. So I followed in with the steel frame structure and then followed that with the mesh layer as well, and then covering that with concrete, and then breaking that down to showcase the different layers and how that was actually constructed. So transparency became a huge part of how I was able to translate this whole concept. So this is a final view of how it was actually made. And then I started to sketch out how the actual form and the base was actually constructed. Mind you, actually, this whole project was actually done during my residency at the fire station at Air 4. And after developing this, I started to sketch out how I wanted to actually showcase and have the silhouette of how the shape would be like. And towards the end, I had the final visual in 3D. And then I got into the fabrication, working with mild steel and aluminium-based works, and installing the actual mechanical shape that actually created the final movement. And this is a contrast of how it looks like via render versus the real-life model.
Didn't you display this at our exhibition in Sheikh Faisal's museum?
This was actually displayed at the Air 4 exhibition at the fire station garage.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Carry on.
So the overall shape was actually done to simulate the movement of sand. So what you see here in the base plate, that actually had a mechanical system installed that actually showcased movement. So this thing slowly shifts with moving sand, almost giving you a feeling of consistent change, but moving very, very slowly at the same time. And it became a very interesting concept that actually progressed later on in the future.
It's like tectonic plates, isn't it like tectonic plates, like an earthquake?
Yeah, I would say the main idea was actually based off of movement and how the wind tends to move the sand and form different patterns as time progresses. So that's how we kind of progressed as a concept. So after I delved into that, I started to focus more on the digital works that I had. And this took place after I got into New York as well. And most of the works actually became very emotional based, how I was able to transfer and create a single set of movement from a single shape. And from there, I kind of progressed into creating these series that I called Consumer Consumed. And it was how, it was a depiction of the development process taking place and how that grew. But in a sense, we also grew with it as well. And it kind of was taken a step further from the first pieces that I made at the fire station. So after I finished this, I then delved into the New York project, which was actually based off of I would say a documentation process. So lots of photography took place, and I would just walk around. Anything that captures my attention in regards to a moment or a irregular scene that just did not feel as common to me was captured. So I was able to create this collection of photos that was then translated into 3D. So I would take the actual photo and then create a perspective view of it. And from there, I would install that same face model within it and then create this more or less a visual reflection that actually sits and floats in the middle of the scene. And it feels like almost as if that face is actually part of the scene.
This is New York, right? You've taken a New York picture.
This was taken in Times Square, correct? Yes.
Times Square. How about taking something in Qatar Square or Doha downtown? Sheriff.
I've
Yalla.
actually, yeah, I think I've actually been working on that recently. Funny enough, actually, as soon as I started working on this, the COVID-19 started in March.
Yeah.
So I guess everything kind of came to a halt. So I started to delve into more personal projects. So upon finishing and having my solo exhibition at the fire station, I then started to work on my personal things during quarantine. So, and one of which actually was the VR project installation, and this was mainly done.
Hang on.
Hello.
Uh, okay, your voice had just gone. Hang on.
Yes. Is my voice clear now?
Mohammed, we cannot hear you. Can you refresh? Or, can you
Yeah.
hear him, Khalifa and Fatima?
I can hear him.
Okay, only I can't hear him. Then that's perfect. Yeah.
Can everyone else
That's
hear
fine.
me?
Hang on a minute. Yeah.
All right. Sure.
Let's we're done with the slide, right?
Yeah. So it's just about talking about the development that I had during the quarantine period, and most of which was actually delving into the VR use in
Great.
the with the arts as well. So this is one of my pieces that I was working on, which was basically done in VR. So everything was sculpted by hand using the using the VR system. And I actually wanted to work with. I was actually inspired by the use of masks and the idea of taking precaution when leaving the house. This was done at the time when the numbers were rising, so everything was just out of the blue, and everyone was just shocked by everything that was taking place. And as a result, I just thought about this idea of having a mask that would be worn, let's say, in the future. And as you leave the house, you would just have this on your face, and all you would see is just all these visuals. So how does someone personify himself via this mask that was worn outside? And this was how I came about it.
Okay, lovely.
So a picture of it was then done. Sorry?
That's a lovely presentation. You did that for us.
Thank you
Just
very
gonna-
much.
Just gonna get
You can
Fatima
use
back.
this now as a mask. You can use this as a mask.
Yeah, I thought about 3D printing.
Yeah, I think we've done that. Yeah, lovely.
That would be
let
really
me-
cool.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hopefully, let's see how this whole thing progresses as well in the future, inshallah.
Yeah, excellent. Guys, it was a pleasure having you all. But before we close shop, I would like you all to give a message to our audience. And before that, I'd like Khalifa to tell us his future goals, his future aspirations, and uh, uh, frequently leaving us, Fatima. Also, you keep leaving us, Fatima. Now you don't have to leave us for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, sorry, my internet. I don't know what's wrong.
That's okay, no worries. So, Khalifa, what are your goals and what are your plans for the future in the next? The World Cup is coming.
Yeah, I wish us all health. Number one.
Lovely. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing to say.
I mean, that's our number one goal. I mean, I hope we progress more and more, inshallah. Like as into the future. I hope everyone kind of. I hope for everyone, honestly, to continue working and to continue executing their work in terms of the art field, in ways where they feel that this is their genuine self and this is their true kind of like vision, and to Qatar, for all of us to just remain strong in this unprecedented time, and to continue growing. And I mean, I want to keep it short.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Lovely. There's a lovely message from you. I really like that. Appreciate. Fatma, what is your message for all the audience and our guests here too?
To keep on doing what they love and continue whatever their passion is, to continue it, and to reach their goals and higher.
Wow. Okay, guys, I think we need to have another 10 more minutes. Ahmad Al Hajri has just thrown us a couple of questions. First question is for Fatma. Fatma, can you read the questions? I can read it out to you. I've noticed that most
Yeah.
of your artwork has a peck in the shape of burqa. I want to know, why did you choose the peck, and why is it almost all of your artworks? I think he didn't come in earlier, so he doesn't know. But quickly, if you can answer him, because he's worth answering. He's a
Um,
great guy.
for Ahmed, the beak symbolizes like the combination of Western and the Qatari traditions, like combining the American bald eagle and the Batula together. And
Okay, we lost her. I think he can.
my
Okay,
like
no,
icon, and she's like my character I know just now. Like it's how I express myself more. Can you
lovely.
hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
hear you. Yeah,
Hello.
Let- yeah, I can. We can hear you. Okay, let's go to the fourth question for Khalifa. Do you believe there's a limitation of genres in the
Hello.
film scene? Hang on, Fatma, we are losing you a bit. We'll come back to you. Just give me a second. I'm already started the question with Khalifa from
Okay.
Ahmed Al Haji. For Khalifa, do you believe there's a limitation of genres in the film scene in Qatar? Because some or most of the films had great stories, but they feel a little bit heavy. What are your thoughts about this? Will DFI ever create a Netflix type of websites where people could view and at the same time study the films produced by DFI the past several years? Don't you think putting the films archives or shelves diminishes the filmmaker's work? Hey, very, very nice question. Wow.
They really are. Thank you, Ahmed. Okay,
Yeah.
so first question in terms of genres that are a bit heavy. I think in terms of genres in Doha, I'm pretty sure we all kind of saw the exploration of different genres. However, when the topic is a little heavy, there is the film industry in Doha is growing. I mean, it's there's a lot more films happening on every year, and it's growing. So I think in terms of that, there's it's not necessarily the heaviness, it's in terms of censorship. Yes, there is censorship in Doha, like every other country. There are certain topics that maybe wouldn't be open to discussion, but there is always a way around it. I mean, in terms of film, it's an open book. You can create your script and you can make it happen. However, there's also a few guidelines that are not gonna you know and in
That's nice.
terms of Netflix, there is going to be an archive for films in Doha. There's a website that's happening recently. Uh,
Hmm.
and for Mun Al Badr, I think I spoke about the latest collaboration. It's a
Yeah,
juxtaposition between old Doha and new Doha, um, through a TV.
yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. Question to all the artists. I'm going to get Mohammed to answer that. He's being an art scene. Do you experience the feelings of submissions in the terms of your creativity, the real stories that you want to express, etc.? Did someone tell you to not create specific artwork that might hurt the reputation of the companies who sponsor the events that you're participating in? That's a tough question actually, but let's see how we maneuver around. What do you think, Khalif?
Difficult answer.
Yeah, you
It's a
know.
very
Yeah.
um, I'd say that limitations exist in almost every single platform that you might be able to participate or even work in, be it in Qatar, be it outside of Qatar, internationally as well. It's always difficult to delve into hard questions or even end up poking at them as well. Um, Partly due to politics, culture, a culture clash as well. How might that be perceived by the audience as well? So. And that's why art is always used as a platform to be able to express and actually challenge those ideas and those notions as well. So, from my experience, I feel like I've seen this limitation take place in certain aspects, and in many ways, this can sometimes get in the way of the artist's, freedom of expression. In some cases, but sometimes it can always be done by just changing the words. But I feel like it's always a topic of discussion whether this artwork should be changed because of politics or because of the culture. Um, So it's always based off the context and the platform, I feel.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Fatma, on a parting note, can you? Some of my friends have actually WhatsApped me. They would like to see the ink, because it's it's just phenomenal. So
Okay.
I'd like to know, if you just how did
I could
how
show
did that
you.
come about? How did that come about, Fatima? When did you think of this idea, or did your
This
grandmother tell you?
no, this was when I used to go say when I used to go to like my grandmother, my grandmother's sister, when I used to say hi to them, and like the battula, that when you say hi, it comes on your face, or when I tried wearing it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I felt maybe taking the material, playing around with it, and trying to extract the pigment from it.
Okay, that's lovely. Yeah. Wow. Guys, it was a pleasure to have you. And on a parting note, I'd like to tell you that we'd love to collaborate again. I'm having this exhibition with Mona Al Badr, if I'm not mistaken. We're collaborating in the future, and I'd like to have Mohammed, Fatima, and Khalifa participate in this. It's going to be a wow factor. Uh, we will be communicating with you in the future about it, and I would like to have it in November, opening up into the National Day fervor and spirit of December. Because I think this December we're going to have a wow National Day, like every year, of course. But this year will be different because it's going to be the 2020 Corona times, quarantine. So I think December we are all going to be celebrating. Don't you think, Khalifa and Mohammed?
Inshallah.
Inshallah,
That
yes.
actually sounds like a great initiative.
Pardon me?
It sounds like a great initiative.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I it's sad to say because Fatima has not left us already, but will need to close this. So thank you once again. Thank you, Fatima. Thank you, Mohammed, and thank you, Khalifa. And
Thank
thank you
you.
everybody for viewing, tuning in and supporting Big B Meetup. See you guys next week, and Eid Mubarak in advance. Hang on, let me close with her there too on the screen. Yeah. Fatma, thank you so much for tuning
Thank
in
you.
and being part of the guest list.
Thank
I'll
you very
see you
much.
guys. Eid Mubarak to all of you.
Thank
Thank you.
Take care.
thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
Eid Mubarak.
you.
Thank you.
Night come back.